Welcome back to The Explainer. Grab your coffee because today we are unpacking 6 absolutely explosive stories that literally just dropped this morning, June 23rd, 2026. And honestly, they prove that yesterday's impossibilities are, without a doubt, today's realities. We're talking massive shifts, from the farthest reaches of the cosmos all the way down to the microscopic architecture of our computer chips. The rules of the game are changing entirely, and we're going to break it all down for you.
So, let's dive right in. 6. We've got exactly 6 sizzling stories reshaping the tech landscape right now, showing us how established norms are just being aggressively challenged across the board. We're looking at major breakthroughs in space exploration, cybersecurity, crypto, and of course, AI. Here is our quick roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with mapping the cosmos, then hit the new cybersecurity battleground, look at how Wall Street is tokenizing reality, explore the next big AI evolution, and wrap it all up with the era of disruption.
All right, first up, mapping the cosmos and NASA's next giant leap.
So picture this. Down at Florida's Kennedy Space Center right now, NASA is prepping the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope for an August 30th launch, and they're strapping it to a massive SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. Now, you might be wondering how this fits in with the famous James Webb telescope. Well, think of it like photography. Webb is your ultra-powerful zoom lens, right? It goes incredibly deep into very specific, focused points in the sky. But Roman? Roman is your ultimate wide-angle camera. It has a field of view that is 100 times larger than the Hubble. That means Roman can knock out cosmic surveys in just a few months that would take Hubble literally decades to finish.
But you know, Roman isn't up there just to take pretty pictures. It's hunting for some real fundamental truths about our universe. By mapping out millions of galaxies, it's going to help trace the actual grip of dark energy. And by using this wild technique called gravitational microlensing, it's going to give us a massive, comprehensive census of planetary systems. It's basically trying to answer the ultimate question. Are Earth-like planets common, or are we just completely alone out here? Okay, moving right along to our second story. The new cybersecurity battleground, pitting AI against hardware.
Bringing it back down to Earth and straight into digital security, we're seeing a really fascinating contrast today. On the software side of things, OpenAI just dropped their new GPT 5.5 cyber model under their Daybreak initiative, and it is totally flipping vulnerability hunting on its head. Get this, instead of a human team taking weeks to comb through legacy code, this AI scans a 1 million line code base in minutes. It spots zero-day vulnerabilities and even generates a proof of concept to fix it on the fly. It's so wildly powerful that OpenAI is keeping API access super restricted just to make sure malicious hackers can't weaponize it.
But here's the catch. While AI is getting insanely good at fixing software, hardware is a whole different beast. To understand this massive news about Apple's A12 and A13 chips today, we have to talk about boot ROM. Boot ROM is basically a tiny piece of code etched permanently right into the physical silicon of a chip. It executes the exact second a device powers up. And because of that hardware permanence, if there's a vulnerability there, like the newly discovered USBliterate exploit, it is completely 100% unpatchable. It executes before the operating system even has a chance to load. So this USBliterate jailbreak we're seeing, it is the definition of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's an absolute playground for security researchers. It lets them install custom software and permanently revive locked or otherwise bricked devices. But on the flip side, it completely shatters Apple's long-standing claim of having the most secure smartphone on the market. Since the flaw is physically baked into the hardware, Apple literally cannot push out a software update to fix it. If a bad actor gets physical access to your phone, they're in.
All right, let's jump to story number 3. Wall Street tokenizes reality. Finance meets blockchain.
You know that massive invisible wall between traditional finance and crypto? Yeah, it's completely crumbling right now. And the reason comes down to one number, $16 trillion. That is the projected value of the real-world asset market by 2030, according to Bloomberg analysts. And trust me, the biggest players in traditional finance are absolutely not going to just sit on the sidelines and watch that kind of money pass them by.
Enter Franklin Templeton. They are a massive asset manager, and they're aggressively chasing that $16 trillion market through what's called RWA, or real-world asset tokenization. We aren't just talking about trading Bitcoin here. This is the process of taking physical or financial assets, think real estate or government bonds, and converting them into fractional digital tokens on a blockchain. Basically, it means you could buy a fraction of a commercial high-rise, trade it 24/7 with massive liquidity, and have total transparency, all while completely bypassing traditional brokers.
So just how serious are they about this? Well, they just bought a blockchain firm called 250 Digital, giving this Wall Street titan the proprietary infrastructure to push their on-chain product suite past $2.5 billion. They are totally reimagining financial markets. Their native on-chain products settle transactions in real time. That completely bypasses the clunky old system, the T+2 cycles, where it takes 2 full days for a trade to actually clear. And their endgame is wild. They're aiming to have 10% of their total assets under management, that's over $150 billion, tokenized by 2027. Institutional demand for crypto is no longer a theory, it's an undeniable reality.
Okay, moving to Section 4, the next AI evolution, focusing on B2B video and specialized agents. Let's shift our focus over to Asia for a second, where the paradigms of artificial intelligence are just evolving at absolute breakneck speed. Alibaba's Happy Horse 1.1 model just snagged the #2 spot globally in AI video generation. And honestly, it forces us to step back and impartially ask a tough question. How exactly did American heavyweights like OpenAI's Sora or Chinese heavyweights like ByteDance's Cdance fall behind?
Well, it turns out Alibaba won this race by playing a completely different game. While OpenAI and ByteDance got entirely bogged down by massive deepfake concerns, enterprise limitations, and those billion-dollar copyright lawsuits from major Hollywood studios, Alibaba just sidestepped the whole nightmare. They took a super cautious strategy, using strictly properly licensed B2B data, keeping their documentation completely transparent, and actively working hand-in-hand with regulators. They decided not to fight Hollywood. They just focused on empowering businesses instead. Meanwhile, over in Tokyo, Sakana AI is completely flipping the script with a system called Fugu. To get why this is such a big deal, you gotta understand multi-agent architecture. Instead of building one massive monolithic AI model that tries to know literally everything, kind of like a general practitioner in a hospital, this framework acts as a smart orchestrator for a team of smaller, highly specialized experts. Imagine an AI cardiac surgeon, an AI radiologist, and an AI pharmacist, all working collaboratively on a single complex prompt. Fugu coordinates that entire team perfectly to nail the task.
And here is the absolute knockout punch on why this specialized approach is so disruptive. 1/10. Sakana AI claims their Fugu system can deliver top-tier, frontier-level performance, matching massive models like Claude Fable 5, but using just 1/10 of the energy and a fraction of the cost. In an era where massive AI data centers are just devouring the global electricity supply, this specialized microservices approach is an absolute game changer for sustainability and cost.
Which brings us to our final section, the era of disruption, yesterday's impossibilities.
When you step back and actually look at all these stories from this morning together, a crazy, overarching narrative starts to form. We are watching established norms shatter in real time. Think about it. Our most advanced space telescopes are now hitching rides on commercial rockets. AI is hunting down complex software bugs way faster than human experts ever could. Physical, unpatchable hardware flaws are bringing tech giants to their knees. Trillion-dollar old-school finance institutions are going all in on blockchain tokenization, and massive, monolithic AI models are being legitimately outmaneuvered by swarms of small, specialized agents. Honestly, disruption is pretty much the only constant across every single sector right now. The rules you played by yesterday might be totally obsolete tomorrow. Which leaves us with one vital question as we wrap up today's explainer. How are you adapting to an era where yesterday's impossibilities are becoming today's realities? Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.